Welcome back to the show. It's We Are Live. Chris Simon, Travis Terrell, the Stream Queen, Chris Gardner, also here. Wanted to give a big shout out to our friends at Tech Electronics. We do shout outs on this show, guys. TechElectronics.com is the website. You can see all their capabilities. If you're in the St. Louis area or any city at one of their 8 locations throughout the Midwest, they can help you. That's right. We got the help from them with our cameras, our studio, the Behringer board. That's right. It's a Behringer. Look out. Oh, wow. They helped us outfit the studio, but they can help outfit your workplace with emergency systems or tech help of any kind. That's Tech Electronics, based right here in St. Louis. TechElectronics.com for more information. Real quick, are you guys comfortable with what the Cardinals are doing? They are now only 2 up on the Cubs. Brewers take 2 of 3 over the weekend. Does anybody care? Well, it's about to be crunch time. They're still in first. What do they have? 10 games left against the Cubs? 7 games left?
7 against
Seven against the Cubs.
So 14 games left, half of them are versus the Cubs?
It's going to be fun, right?
I don't know if it's 14. It's somewhere in that number.
Yeah, but either way.
Yeah. We got some drama.
We got drama. What did you
America
expect?
loves drama.
That's fun.
Carlos Martinez hospitalized over the weekend. Apparently something to do with respiratory issues. The Cardinals should have a little bit more word today about his status in the future, but it was a great concern for the organization. He was hospitalized. Was off the recent trip in Colorado, and so he was dealing with that, and so therefore the Cardinals had to rely on other parts of the bullpen to close out the game yesterday, and they were very unsuccessful as Ryan Braun hit the go-ahead grand slam that put the Brewers ahead for good. And they indeed take 2 out of 3. They're salvaging their season. They lost their MVP, Christian Yelich, for the season. So that's
out there taking too many naked pictures for ESPN.
Maybe that's probably what it was. But yeah, we love drama here in St. Louis. Nothing's ever easy, especially when it comes to the St. Louis Cardinals and this time of year. And hold on to your butts. Should be a lot of fun.
I like
Great
that.
way to put it.
Good analysis.
Should be a lot of fun. I'm very excited about it. There's a lot that I want to get to this hour, boys and girls.
Okay.
Because you have a lot on our lovely rundown. And I would like to eventually get to some of the ones that I've sent to Gardner over the last couple of days. But I want to start with one that's kind of close to our wheelhouse because we love Saturday Night Live. We enjoy it. We've had several of their castmates join us, former cast members join us on this show. And recently, SNL just announced some new players, including the very first Asian cast. Bowen Yang, am I saying that correctly? Bowen Yang has been added to the cast, and 2 white people. Surprise, surprise there. But then there's some controversy surrounding the gentleman, if you're watching on our screen, in the lower right-hand corner. Some controversy surrounding him. Chris, you're a fellow white. What
I love that there's this is done with 0 irony. Go ahead, Trev. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
What's his name? Clan McClannerson?
Oh, boy.
Is that his name? Shane Gillis. He is one of the new cast members of Saturday Night Live. However, apparently some video from one of his podcasts surfaced or was released.
He released it himself years ago.
No, it's apparently the podcast that it's got him into some trouble took place this year. And in the podcast, he refers to Asians at one point as...
Did you listen to it?
Yeah, I heard some of the audio. He referred to Asians as Jew chinks. And then, of course, he did the stereotypical Asian accent and dropping the L's and R's on some of his words.
Careful.
I don't know why he would do that. That's not funny, guys.
Careful there, Trev.
Who would do something like that?
It's just hackish.
Yeah, it's very hackish, of course.
Could there be audio that could resurface of anyone else?
I wouldn't be aware of it.
Kind of a thing.
I don't know anything.
It's been done
about that.
900 times on the show.
So there were some comedians who he issued an apology.
No irony.
He issued an apology.
Kinda.
Yeah, kinda apology. I don't know if he would call it
Apology
that.
to those offended.
He apologized to those offended, and he said something about he's pushing boundaries and being edgy as a performer. But yeah, he seemed to sort of kind of apologized about it. A lot of the national comedians.
I think pushing boundaries and being edgy is his description as well. Let's be clear.
Let me see if I can get to a statement. Yes, here's his apology. I'm a comedian who pushes boundaries. I sometimes miss. If you go through my 10 years of comedy, most of it bad. You're going to find a lot of bad misses. I'm happy to apologize to anyone who's actually offended by anything I said. My intention is to never hurt anyone, but I am trying to be the best comedian I can be, and sometimes that requires risk. We had a conversation about this off the air, and we don't have to spend a ton of time on going through the comments that he said on his podcast. I think the apology was a missed opportunity. I don't think this warrants him being quote unquote canceled. I can understand if SNL wants to go in a different direction because of the controversy it has created. It can serve as a distraction from the rest of the cast, especially the new cast members. It certainly can serve as a distraction as you get set for the upcoming season. And so I would understand if SNL wants to go a different direction now after the controversy. I don't think necessarily he needs to be quote unquote canceled. I do think his apology was a little bit of bullshit. That's, I mean, and to his point, we have all said and done things, certainly comedically, that miss the mark.
Yeah.
Even when you're trying to, play upon stereotypes. I've done it. I'll acknowledge. I've said things that absolutely have been offensive, and I definitely should apologize for. And I think comedians do it not to necessarily be offensive. They attempt to be funny. And so in that regard of missing the mark, he's right. You miss the mark sometimes. But I think you also have to acknowledge that using words like Jew chink and certain homophobic language is incredibly offensive. And to say, yeah, you're right, it was, and I apologize. I don't understand why that's difficult for a lot of artists to acknowledge. And again, pushing boundaries, that doesn't necessarily leave it open for you to just say any and everything because you're attempting to push boundaries. But
it's like when you say, if I'm not mistaken, I can say whatever I want
Right,
after this
right.
because I said if I'm not mistaken. If
And
it's factual or not.
Look, every comedian has done this. Chappelle, Seinfeld, Jon Stewart. Like everyone at some point has done something that offends a race, that offends a gender, that offends homosexuals. Like and I think a lot of times, just because you don't have the intentions to offend, doesn't mean you didn't offend. And I think comedians should acknowledge that. I think it's okay to acknowledge that. Oh, okay, I wasn't trying to piss someone off or have someone be upset, but it's very clear that I was...
Sometimes they are.
Right, and sometimes they are. And we've talked about those types before as well. But I think in this instance, there was a missed opportunity. I see that Andrew Yang offered his, hey, come on in, let's talk about this. I see some other Asian American comedians who entirely want him off, want him gone, and are upset that it takes attention away from the newest Asian cast member, but I don't know. I don't know. Where do we go with this situation? Does he keep his job? Should he be able to keep his job? How do you think it plays out?
I don't need him to
By the
lose
way, the
his job,
debut
but
is September 28th.
I'm not directly affected by that. So if people feel that they can't watch Saturday Night Live or appreciate it, that's one thing. But I don't know. It's one of those things where you're, and I actually appreciate how you said that he could have just made his life a little easier by approaching a statement differently, and not jeopardizing his integrity as a comedian or artist. Just would have made his life easier and could have moved.
It would have been wise just to apologize
a little bit. There is some.
He said something wrong. Jude Chinks is wrong. Let's be very clear with that. That's very wrong. Ignorant. It is a racial slur, and he should have said, "Hey, that's a slur. I shouldn't have said it. I was being lazy in a podcast that I never thought anyone in America would probably listen to. And because of that recklessness, because of that laziness, I sincerely apologize." And I don't understand why that's weird for an artist, a comedian especially, to acknowledge. That's a slur. You know what I'm saying? Like, so even if Chris said it in a joke, the N-word, Chris knows it's a slur. So it was a failed attempt at being funny. You were being very reckless.
Then
You know
why-
it's a slur, but to
why
play
are you
the
using it?
I was pushing boundaries card just feels
Yeah.
very lazy.
Yeah, I don't know him, and if it was discovered he's like a horrible person or something, but honestly, I wish it was just kind of. I'm guessing he's not a horrible person, and I wish that I hope it goes well, and I think
Say what you want to say,
It's
man. Say what
interesting.
you're guarding yourself. Say
there's
say
no
with your
guarding.
chest.
No, there's no guarding. It's some comments from a long time ago.
No, it was 4
and
months
they
ago.
didn't-
It wasn't a long time ago. That's.
I thought it was from
No,
a
this
while
was
ago.
this was 2019.
The direct quote was from 2019.
The podcast comment was from 2019.
That was that.
It's
No,
not a
there's
it's not a
something else.
one-time thing.
Got it.
Right.
It's a
So
thing.
then, what I
There
looked
are
at said it
multiple-
was from a long time ago.
Yeah,
so
there's
if he wants
multiple
to
ones.
if he wants to keep trying that stuff, I mean, you're on Saturday Night Live now, and that's going to get brought up, and I'm guessing people aren't going to appreciate that. And if you don't feel that way, or you don't feel that it's necessary to your comedy, then why keep going down the road just for your own sanity, health, whatever else? So
The
I-
JC comment is what he used to reference Andrew Yang.
Got it. So yeah, not smart on his part, and like you said, be more efficient if you truly are over it. Sorry, whatever else, or you think you should, even if you don't feel you should apologize. I'm not saying to give in to crazy social media mobs, but you have coworkers that are Asian, you have stuff like that you're going to have to deal with. So you either need to decide if that's super important to use in your comedic musings, or talk to some people, be professional, and acknowledge that you've pissed some people off, and you can move forward. Or if you really feel it's super necessary for your comedy, hold on to that and see where it goes. Probably won't go too much further, but yeah, I don't think that's a hill he would want to die on. At the end of the
Yeah.
day, I mean, that's kind of what you're saying, Travis.
I not only that, it's from I'm looking at this from multiple angles, but the angle that would frustrate me if I'm a writer and player on the show is that it's a major distraction. It's a complete distraction because every time people tune in and see him, they're going to immediately associate him with this moment. And I think he could have put that to bed by
Well,
simply saying,
I think the issue here is you guys obviously were thinking of two different things. So you said moment there. Think of moments plural. This is a trend.
Yes.
Is the issue I see. This wasn't a one-time deal.
Mm-hmm.
This happened multiple times. And I think I even read an excerpt from an interview he gave within the last year, I thought, where he even specifically talked about how he goes after Asians because his audience reacts to that. So
he's got to make a choice.
I mean, that's not a one-time deal. That's I'm crafting my comedy around this.
that's
That's an issue.
And that is an issue, and I didn't realize that, but I just think it again to just place it on by just saying you're pushing boundaries. I think a lot of comedians, Asian, white, black, would all acknowledge that's
that
bullshit.
part of the statement is as lazy
That's
as
very lazy.
as the
Yes,
stuff we're talking about.
and I think we've seen Saturday Night Live push boundaries on several issues. I think though, even when they miss the mark, they often acknowledge that.
Right.
Okay, we missed the mark.
Well, that's
on
why,
that.
like I've always said, like when you go into these territories, if you're a comedian, and you should expect backlash if you're not good at it.
That's what it comes down to.
And, like you have to be really good, and that's why you appreciate people that are, and they separate themselves, that can dive into material along these lines that are racial stereotypes or whatever. There's a reason they're really good and talk about it and don't get a backlash that others do, because they're skilled at discussing it, skilled
Yes.
at delivering the material.
And I think you look at guys like, let's even for example, let's look at Bill Burr. Bill Burr is a guy that I think does a very good job. You can discuss black people. You can discuss Asian people. You can discuss other communities. There's a deft way of doing it. There's a way you can go about it, but to lean on old stereotypes, especially inside your comedy. It's one thing to make a glib comment It's another thing to make it a part of your comedy. If you're going to make race a part of your comedy, you need to be more deft in doing it. You need to be more, especially in this era, you need to be more conscientious of how you deliver said joke. It forces you to be better, I think. I think people often complain about they can't say things like they used to say. We even joked about it with what I had to come up with for the Loop Trolley. It was family oriented. Okay, as a comedian, that's a challenge. Can you write something for everyone? And I think I don't understand comedians who just say, well, I can't say what I used to say back in the day. Switch it up. That's part of the gig. That's part of the craft. You have to be able to go with the changes, go with the evolution of the audience. And I think it is lazy when a comedian goes, I'm just pushing boundaries. Bro, you can do that without leaning on stereotypes that we got rid of
Right.
30
You're not-
years ago.
My problem is that you're not pushing boundaries.
Right.
Like that's been done.
And you're not right. And it's not original. That's another thing. Like we've seen that before. So,
That's not pushing boundaries.
but again,
It's like when I hear people talk about PC culture. Normally, what that is someone who's just an asshole that's now getting in trouble for being an asshole.
right.
And now they don't like being called an asshole and having to live with that. Oh, I'm an asshole.
And that's another thing that you also have to live with as a comedian. If you say something that's offensive, you have to acknowledge the backlash. Like the backlash is going to happen. Like you can't be like, oh, how you guys yelling at me?
New cast members just need to get together, share some China
Uh-oh.
food, and figure this out.
Chinese
if I were to
food.
use Travis's terminology, that's from the
Chinese
Black
food.
Sheep.
Travis says Chinese.
Yeah, do we want to run
food.
through a list of
Do we
Chinese
Chinese
cities that
food?
Travis
Yes.
could pronounce for us?
I have pronounced cities as best as I can. I don't know what else you guys could be talking about. Gardner, make sure to delete all that, please. Thank you.
A lot of work, and I don't know if I'm really going to.
The caravan of mostly Central American immigrants is now in the Mexican city of Oaxaca.
Is he offensive?
I think what he's doing. What's frustrating is that I don't think comedians have said offensive things
I was
before.
going to say, the stuff he said probably is said in many comedy clubs throughout the country, and I'm not, but the problem is, when you're him, you just got pushed, like, you made that choice to do that, and you can say X amount of people do it in every black, white, mixed, whatever club it is, but then it's also, are those people going on to Saturday Night Live, and did they readily say it multiple times on podcasts and whatever else? And you just have to be prepared to face that. It doesn't look like he's going to get fired, but maybe he'd be wise to think differently about his approach. So
I'm curious to see how this does play out. Lauren Michaels hasn't said anything as of yet, and I don't
be playing that Belushi Samurai clip a whole lot.
Yeah.
Say, wait, what? You care about what?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
I don't think
How
it'll
it-
be much after a couple more news things happen. To be honest, if he just comes out and continues to use that language,
And-
I
and-
think I think he'll lose his job.
I think the only thing that sucks with
I
him.
think maybe they just limit his role for a season and he's gone, or something even along those lines.
Never know. That happens anyway.
Yeah.
That happens anyway.
So that's an easy out if they
Could be
needed
if
that.
that's what they want to do.
Right.
Sure.
I don't know how this works going forward. I don't know. This
Yeah.
is
He'd be wise to go on, crush it, maybe even have a couple quick conversations with his peers if they're willing. Yeah, move forward
Now,
if he
I-
wants, or he can hold on to the words and see where that gets him.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he would have been able to almost dodge this controversy if it wasn't for his statement. I think he would have been within. I think
don't
that
know.
statement really is not sitting well with a lot of comedians
think
today. A
that
lot
it-
of comedians I've seen on Twitter, or like some very prominent, notable comedians, were just like, "Yeah, you may have had us if you didn't lean on that statement.
Here's
That
the
statement
thing.
is not making a lot of people feel
So
better
let-
about
let's,
today."
Let's separate comedians and the general public,
Mm-hmm.
okay? So the comic community, they're more offended by the statement and when he says he's pushing boundaries.
Yeah, then the
The general
actual.
public
agree.
is more offended by the multiple times he uses slurs
Right.
referring to Asian people.
Right.
It's like,
I
well, wait, pumps up pushing boundaries.
So now he's got
Two
he's-
crowds.
yeah.
Yeah, he's got two crowds coming after him. And that's why I think that's why he made a mistake, because he could have had comedians come out in his defense, and I think he absolutely misplayed that. I don't know who gave him advice to write that statement. Maybe he just wrote it on his own, but he would have been wise to put more of a and I've said this before, even in regards to Kevin Hart's statement during the Academy Awards controversy. Look, there are things we have all done and have said that a lot we completely regret. And we said them in a moment either to be funny, either to be glib, either to be a smartass.
Yeah.
We've all done it. So it isn't as if people are saying you have to be perfect in everything you do and everything that you're saying. What they're saying is acknowledge your ignorance, acknowledge your irresponsibility. And I think to see comedians who can be some of the smartest people in the room be so stupid at handling these types of controversies is mind-boggling to me, especially when I saw with Kevin Hart. That blew me away still to this day. A guy that's so image conscious would be just so bad at PR. And even in this case, this guy seems young enough to know how this all works. He knows how the internet works. He knows how Twitter and Facebook works and how podcasts works. So why not just come out and say
Protect your account. Oh,
that, and also say shit like, oh man, I was being stupid. I was trying to be funny and it didn't. And it wasn't funny. I missed the mark, and it was offensive. I want to apologize. That's not who I am as a person. That's not who my comedy is. And that's not what I'm about. Like, I don't understand why that statement is so hard. The idea that you're pushing boundaries, like I said, that's a slap in the face of a lot of comedians. And you know, if there was ever a chance to get the comedy crowd, the comedians of the world behind you, you screwed that up.
for two different reasons.
yeah.
You pissed off two different
Two
groups of
different
people.
factions. Gardner, I saw this. This is
Well,
very
hold on.
Uh-oh.
Since we're on comedy here.
Oh.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a video we've been wanting to get to. This is one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
Oh, okay.
I had such a good time watching this. And if you can hear, you really need to focus on the audio. If you're just watching, maybe turn up your volume. But this is our friend Nathan Orton at a now defunct open mic.
Oh.
And I believe Mike Ratcliffe is a comic here. And he hosted an open mic in St. Peter's, O'Fallon.
Oh, don't get the city
out
wrong there.
Out there.
Oh, you better have better
confirm
sources.
The city.
Yeah.
I'll confirm the city. Bar owner not happy, I guess, with multiple things. This person did not seem as though they were really on board with the open mic having. So to qualify, open mics are where you try new stuff most of the time, or people who've never done comedy get an opportunity to go up and give it their first try. So you get a mix of seasoned pros and literal first timers, and the material's not always going to be that great. Personally, I applaud anybody who runs one of them because they're super difficult to make successful. But this is the, I guess, previous to this, it had been alerted that the bar owner was going to be canceling the open mic, and Nathan Orton takes the stage.
Let's bring up Nathan Orton.
Nathan films all of his sets.
Yeah! Keep it going. How's it going? Hey, who here? Who came here for comedy? Raise your hand. Okay, all but two of you, and you're buying drinks. That's good. Whew. Henry's going out there to tell everyone that it just got canceled. Yeah, comedy's about the truth. I'm not gonna do jokes.
I mean, let's be truthful, right?
Yeah, well, it got canceled.
Because your comedy shit, all your people bought 2 beers and 2 pickle shots. So since you're so fucking funny, you can unplug your mic and get the fuck out. That's real funny.
Can you refund my pickle shot?
No, you can stick that pickle right up your fucking ass and take your microphone with you, buddy. Because y'all motherfuckers ain't funny.
Well, I just got up here.
Now, instead of rescheduling this shit, we'll just cancel it all the fuck together.
Well, you already did cancel it.
Yeah, let me help you with that.
You already did cancel it.
Approaching the stage.
Is that a little more fucking clear for everybody? Hello? Yeah, now you can ride the fuck out. Alright. Congratulations. Yeah, I'm a fucking beer too, motherfucker. So I don't even fucking play.
What happened?
I didn't even do one joke.
No, you want to be fucking funny about how you got canceled because you ain't fucking funny because you didn't bring no customers, right?
I was just telling them what was going on.
It's real fucking
I left it in the room.
going on.
I
I got
left it in the
two customers in here who are fucking uncomfortable because y'all ain't even funny. Talking about weird shit about pressing buttons and killing motherfuckers in O'Fallon. Last week I was in here, a 60-year-old woman got up here talking about somebody eating her pussy for an hour, brother. Somebody else got up here talking about jerking off the fucking Victoria's Secret. If y'all are that fucking funny, let me know where you're gonna be. I'll stop the fuck by.
I have a question. Did she talk about having her pussy eaten for an hour, or did she talk about having her pussy eaten for an hour?
She said if it takes you an hour to eat her pussy.
See, I made you laugh. All right, that's all I needed.
Have a good night, sir.
Right on, baby.
That's that.
I'll never have that kind of patience. I'll never have that kind of idiot. That guy made like 3 aggressive moves / things that whatever another dude does that to you, there's some options you have in your head. Walk away, engage, whatever else. I did notice a drastic body language change when Nathan got within arm's reach of him, but politely approached him.
Well, first off, Nathan Orton is a trained fighter.
There's another video if you want to Google it, of Nathan Orton head kick knocking someone out in an MMA fight.
Nathan Orton has 3% body fat and comes from a family, a fighter. So, but I think if you're talking about textbook, how to
Should be a
handle
grad
any
class.
situation, frankly, not only just
Yes.
a situation for a comedian, but almost any situation, I think Nathan nailed it. I think that's one that comes from experience. I think an inexperienced comedian probably handles that. I'll be honest. I think Travis
Comedian?
handles that completely differently.
Oh,
I don't think
what'd
I
you
handle
say?
it. I don't handle that the same.
Somebody throws a mic cord at you.
Oh yeah, I don't.
What?
Yeah, I think Travis. I don't know if.
Travis falls down on the stage. Lawsuit!
I don't know too many comedians in St. Louis, and I know some very talented comedians. I don't know if they're handling it as calmly as
Probably
Nathan
just
did in
walk
that
away.
moment.
Like
Generally,
right?
probably walk away, especially
God he
since the
didn't.
guy started going into endless amounts of expletives. Nothing better than a guy going into endless amount of expletives and then talking about the language of comedians on stage. But that's neither here or there. But
Travis gets yelled at.
That ain't the whitest thing a white man has ever whited in his life.
it was. And here's the thing. The funny thing about that, that's the same guy that's so quick to call somebody a snowflake if Donald
Has
Trump
to
calls
be.
somebody a
Has to
name.
be.
So that was also the funny thing about that. But I love the way that Nathan handled that. And I hope if
Yeah, we hope Mike gets a better home for his open mic. That's,
I think that
open mic with Mike.
Oh.
but
fits.
but yeah, I don't know. I guess I don't know what he expected from comedy sets. I don't know what he expected comedians to say when they perform.
Well,
But this individual clearly had some other issues going on. He probably was disappointed more than anything because he wasn't drawing a crowd. That's probably the thing that pisses him off more than anything, that he had to listen to comedy that he probably was too confused about, and he had to do it where he wasn't bringing in much of a draw. But a credit to, again, all that credit goes to Nathan Ortner. The way he handled that situation, I think. Chris, I know you and
genius.
I would have not handled it the same way.
Well, then to
Gardner,
set up-
I don't even know if Gardner necessarily handles it that way. I think that
You
was
just
pretty
walk away.
impressive.
You walk away or
You
you
generally
slap
walk
the guy.
away.
I mean,
I know some black comedians that's probably not walking away from that. But okay. But I thought what Nathan did
Yeah,
was
I'm not slapping the guy. I'm not going to win that.
yeah. I don't.
The only way I win is to do something else.
I
What that is, I'm not saying because I need those in the back pocket. But
Right. No. The fact that he found a way
To get the guy
to
to-
de-escalate
It started
and make
with-
the guy laugh. Like, that guy was just telling you he was going to shove a pickle shot up your
yeah, it
asshole.
started with, will
a
you
few
comp my
seconds ago.
pickle shot?
That was good. Will you comp my pickle shot? I would imagine arguing with Nathan Orton is annoying as fuck. I bet he's a pain in the ass.
Well, that's my thing too. Is like you guys, everything's tough guy talk and all this stuff until it's like that. Like you don't want his.
And
shin-
he's right.
You don't want his shin upside your orbital, man. That's
and
not
I
good.
think I don't know what you do in that situation. You kind of want to acknowledge that person's ignorance, their stupidity in the moment. And I think that guy got his feelings hurt because Nathan is Nathan Orton. Nathan Orton's going to say, you canceled the show. He going to call you out. You canceled it. Ain't no way to be cute about it. And when the guy got called out, he got into his feelings. And he acted like a little baby back bitch.
Oh, boy.
That was very apparent.
There it is.
Unplugging the thing on the stage. But Nathan handled that as well as anybody could have handled that in that situation.
That was very good.
That was-
just calling people names.
Yeah.
He was acting like a little baby back
All
pussy
right.
ass bitch.
All right.
No, now yeah.
Well, if
Now
Chrissy
you're
Teigen,
adding.
if Chrissy Teigen can say it, then I can. But
Really?
he was.
No, I
You
don't
ain't
think
Chrissy
they're on the
Teigen,
same
bro.
level.
That's also true.
Just like Gardner's not little Tanichi.
he is Tucci.
It's little Tunisia. Night in Tunisia.
Gardner, I knew this set of news made you very excited. Face Off apparently is going to be remade and
Yeah,
is
what's going on
underway
here?
at Paramount.
What's going on here?
From the producers of Fast and the Furious. I didn't realize this was a thing that people really wanted, but apparently after this announcement, folks went nuts about the prospects of this movie being remade. And the funny thing about it is, it's an incredibly awful film.
Yeah.
It is a very, very bad. It's not even like it's one
But
of those
it's-
things. Like I guess.
Rotten
if you,
Tomatoes has it.
There's what they do have it high, don't they?
I thought they had it
I
high.
think you're right. I think they have it like in the 70s or 80s, if
I
I'm
thought
not
it was in
mistaken.
the
No,
80s.
it's high. It was like 88 or something.
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't on board with this until someone suggested two names
Oh,
to me.
shit. 92.
Okay. Oh, right. All right. That is horse shit. Oh, can we find a new website for
No,
our film
Hero,
review?
I'm
Yeah,
not-
that's bullshit.
No.
Here I was because critics had Chappelle's new special on Rotten Tomatoes at like 30% or something. The audience is at 100, something insane. And then you flip to like a special that I could call out and the critics have it at 100 and the audience has it at like 20. So just know who you're dealing with. That's all I say.
I was on the
This
fence.
is confusing though. This is Face Off. Like, how do they?
Well-
It is entertaining. I don't remember it being.
I think if you
90%
read that
entertaining.
Q&A
It wasn't
with-
90% entertaining.
If you read that Q&A with Nick Cage recently in the last month or so, he needs to make movies, and he likes making lots of movies. He will keep working. He likes being active and making movies.
Don't blame him.
John Travolta, maybe the same deal right now. I don't know. But here's an opportunity. Those two get to make movies. We will benefit.
True.
We will benefit.
One way or the other, we will benefit. Either we're going to make fun of it, or we're actually going to
Yeah.
probably enjoy it.
I
Do
mean,
we agree with our friend Craig saying Gina Gershon was hotter than the bottom of a frying pan in it, though?
No.
What happened to Gina?
Yeah, she was very hot in that movie.
Yeah, no,
She
I'm
was very
thinking
hot in
that.
that movie. I think I was again
I'm
not.
just-
I didn't care about this until someone suggested two actors that I think would make this a very fun movie: Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds.
So you're not having Nick Cage or John Travolta?
No, there is going to be as far away from this film as possible. If it's trying to make money, put it that way. If you're trying to make this go straight to DVD or streaming online, then sure, bring back Travolta and Cage. But I would keep them as far, far, far away from this movie as well. Unless you want to make just keep them far, far from it. I don't want them involved in this project at all.
I would be upset if Face Off with Nick Cage and John Travolta, the reboot, got made before National Treasure 3. That would
Well,
piss me
it's
off.
probably going to happen.
Got a message from Nathan Orton, who was tagged. Just sorry to interrupt the face-off talk, but sorry, can't like the post. I'm in FB jail because of making a joke about drowning kids.
That's. You think that's fucking funny? Coming in here talking
Pickle.
about that?
Tell him
That's
to
worse
shove
than
that pickle up his
Yeah,
ass.
tell him
maybe
to
that
shove
guy
that.
was
Send him
right.
that. Send him
Yeah.
that.
Tell him that's
Yeah.
what we said here.
And let's not take any context. Let's just get really mad about it because that's how I like to do things.
Now
That's
I wanna,
fantastic.
Now I want to know, though.
Yeah.
Oren
Sorry, go
Uziel has been tapped to write the script, and the Fast and Furious franchise producer Neil Moritz
Oh boy.
will produce the reboot, while originally Face Off producer David Permut will serve as the executive producer. The new Face Off should benefit from technological advances from Hollywood with the deep fake videos that have flooded the internet in recent years.
Oh, that makes sense then.
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense.
Kind of.
I think, like I said, I think if you told me that you're going to put Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman in it, I will be there Friday night. I'll be there opening night. I would watch the hell out of that movie. Because it'll be funny and actually action-packed.
You want to get me, you get one actor involved.
Who
who
is
I
that?
think is the best actor going.
Who's that?
Benedict Cumberbatch. I love me some Benedict Cumberbatch.
You just like his name.
No, I like Benedict
They're going to have to write a
Cumberbatch.
fat check to get Benedict Cumberbatch to submit to this film.
Yeah, he's very good.
That's a fat check. You
very
know what?
good.
How about flipping it? And since we all look alike anyway, cast two black actors. Who would be two black actors you would like to see in Face Off?
You said it.
Who?
No, you said black actors all look the same. So it's like,
I said-
let's say, Mike Epps and
Yes!
let's say Mike Epps, hang on, and Idris Elba. They look exactly
Yeah,
the
Mike
same.
Epps and
Yeah.
Tay Diggs.
Yeah.
They're two black actors that white people be like,
Taye
wait, they're
Diggs.
not the same thing.
I'm not doing Tay Diggs.
Craig
This ain't
wants-
some holiday movie where with an ensemble cast.
Craig wants Benedict Cumberbatch and Daniel Day-Lewis.
Ooh.
That would be the most awesome action film ever. The acting in that film.
Oh.
I kind of want that now.
You
I
gotta
kind
get-
of
Now,
want
wait,
that.
so
Gotta
if
get
it- if it's-
DDL out of retirement.
If it's
that would do it. That would probably be the movie.
If it's the Rock and Matt Damon, does Matt Damon get ran through the ringer for acting like he was doing blackface?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Does that make sense?
It does make sense.
For intimating he may be doing blackface.
Just do who two white actors that really I get confused with all the time I see them on the screen. Do Chris Hemsworth and John Hamm.
How do you get those two confused?
I don't know.
I know it doesn't work because they have to have similar bodies, though, right? Because it's their face on the other
Face
body.
off.
Yeah.
That was a bad movie. I hate that it's 90.
92?
It's a bad movie. That's a bad movie, guys. Can we acknowledge that? Even as a kid, I knew when I was watching, I was like, this is insanely violent, incredibly stupid, and it was very long. It's a bad movie. The premise is just awful, but it was fun.
I saw something on Twitter not too long ago where it's like raw footage of Travolta and Cage acting a scene from there. So, and it's also like when they
I saw
cut,
that. Yeah,
and then their discussion, little chat afterwards as well.
they were dead serious about that movie.
Oh yeah, they were
into it.
They were into it.
They were like, how do you like this move? Did you like it? Did it work for you then? Like, because I thought I came on too strong, and Travolta's like, oh man, it's great.
I got a massage to catch. Be right back.
Oh,
Our friends at St. Louis Counseling Services support us, and maybe after you see the score of Rotten Tomatoes for Face Off, you might need to talk to someone too. St. Louis Counseling Services, they are here to help everybody. Since 1955, they've served the St. Louis area with school partnership programs, counseling services, employee assistance programs. Contact them online, stlouiscounseling.org, and be sure to check out the new podcast, Mental Health Matters, each and every week from St. Louis Counseling Services.
Chris, tonight, your Stanley Cup champion, St. Louis Blues, kick off.
Kickoff?
Ice off.
Face off? Face off.
Ice pitch up.
Face off.
Face off.
Face off.
In the first preseason action, but that isn't the news that necessarily has Blues fans all excited.
Oh, what is that?
That was a big announcement over the weekend. Your St. Louis Blues bringing back fan favorite uniforms.
Oh.
The Blues revealed 90s vintage jersey at training camp. They will have 3 dates in the upcoming season where they will wear these puppies. For those who are listening at home, it's basically clown jerseys. It's red, yellow collar.
So these are fun, but these are
Hideous.
very bad.
They're very,
Right?
very bad. They're bringing them back because why the hell not? So more
Colors of the
jerseys.
St. Louis flag.
If the
They are. I wish they would have made wish they've got the flag actually in there. That'd have been cool.
If the Winter Classic jerseys are the creme de la creme
Yes.
of custom jerseys, this is the opposite, right?
It's a very.
But they're still fun.
They're fun, hideous looking jerseys. The Blues are going to wear this on 3 dates in the upcoming seasons. Got the fans excited. Got the fans divided, actually, I would say more than anything else. But I think even the fans who don't care for it, like myself, I don't necessarily have a problem with it because I'm probably not going to go out and spend $140 on a jersey anyway. So, sweater, I apologize. But, hey, the Blues are keeping it fresh in the upcoming season, especially to celebrate their Stanley Cup champion win. And I like that they're willing to try something different. With the baseball team in town, it has to go through 17 years of a process. Then you have to check with everybody out in South County. And then once you get their approval, then the DeWitts have to decide whether or not they care to see it themselves. And then they eventually reveal the jersey. But the Blues are just like, no, we think these are dope. Let's make it happen. So shout out to the St. Louis Blues for making it happen again. That should be really fun. They're hideous. They're not terrible as I remember, but it's still hideous.
My brother had one. I don't know if he still has it or not. I doubt it.
I remember seeing them around the when was that, like 96?
Mid 90s somewhere.
I remember seeing them around the I think Farmington Middle School.
How
It was a hot item.
they didn't get a Blackhawks date for their 3 dates is beyond me. The 3 dates where it'll be worn is November 21st versus Calgary, the 27th versus the Islanders, and the 31st against Detroit. The Detroit makes
Detroit,
sense because of
okay.
the old rivalry, and that will be 90s night apparently.
On the Detroit one?
Oh, is that the new Islanders one? Am I reading that?
I'm not sure. I'm not
It looks like it says February versus the Islanders will be 90s night, and March 31st versus Detroit. I'm surprised they didn't get a Blackhawks date. That's kind of weird. If you've seen, I don't know if have you seen the commercial they have for it?
Yeah.
It's pretty freaking sweet. It's really nice.
It looked
It's
like they got Ken Wilson to voice it over.
apparently, which is crazy because someone pointed this out, and I thought this the same. Ken Wilson didn't leave on the best of terms with the Blues, and last time I checked in on Ken Wilson, he was a birther, I thought. I think maybe he wasn't a birther, but he was out there last time because he was doing something politically out in Hawaii.
Yeah, he was out. He lived in Hawaii.
Yeah, but I think he was like, I forgot what party he was a part of. I think the Communist Party. I don't know. Allegedly.
I'm gonna do some research on your behalf.
I will say this: the Blues do have a new radio home.
They do.
They've left KMOX and are now at 101 ESPN
WXOS.
as their flagship. We can talk about that a little bit more tomorrow.
Why will we do
just
that?
Just the three of us?
Well, we'll have a fourth person in.
Ooh.
New friend of the show, Randy Carricker, will be dropping by to discuss stuff with us in the 9 o'clock hour.
Fellow Helium comedy competition judge, Randy Carricker.
You judged with them?
Did.
Look at you.
Fist bumped, hung out twice.
I
Oh,
saw
look
him
at
at the
you. How cool.
MLS event. He said to tell Chris hello. And then I said, hey, if you got time here in the coming weeks, you're more than welcome to drop by.
How delightful.
And then we can set a tea time for something.
Oh, boy, you guys go.
You lured him in with golf. Great. I'm looking forward to that. Randy Carricker's a very talented individual. He has a lot of interesting things to talk about, and the perspective that he has, being talent, being at different radio stations, being part of a giant successful station now for many years. I'm really excited.
He's
Randy
been a
was great
voice.
to chat with.
How long has he been in this career? For almost 30 plus years?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, at 40 even.
I've been
30, 40.
following, I just as a kid growing up, I've been following from his days on Sports Talk Plus.
Yep.
Like even on with
Sports Plus?
Sports Plus. What I
Well,
say
we'll
that
have
wrong?
Sports Talk Plus.
You're talking about the pit.
The Pit, yeah. It used to be my favorite show every Sunday. I used to watch it religiously. Him and Mike Bush, Charlie Tuna, they would get on and debate local St. Louis issues. And I've been watching and listening to Carricker ever since. So it's going to be cool to have him in here to
It's been
talk.
very, very good to me in my time in radio.
But he's also, I think he's been a great representation of just of the media here in St. Louis. The guy does a very good job. First of all, he's incredibly smart and does his homework as well as anyone and knows the city in and out. And he's definitely one of the most respected
Yeah,
media
and
figures
he
in
makes
St. Louis.
no buts about being a fan more than anything.
I like
No,
that. Yeah.
and look, what do we say all the time? As long as you choose a side, as long as you choose. If you want to be Mr. Objective, be Mr. Objective. If you want to support the home team, support the home team. As long as you make no bones about it. So that's what we respect about Randy. So we'll have him in to discuss everything that's going on, and
Well,
hopefully
social media has affected his career.
I would imagine that will be probably a question at some point we ask. I would love to get his thoughts also on naming rights. We're big on naming rights here in this city. We love when corporate America gets involved with our professional sports league. And there's a particular industry that I'm very happy to see willing to stick it out.
Good way to get a guest to cancel.
Yeah,
tomorrow.
no doubt. Internet porn business submits
Oh,
$10 million naming rights bid for Miami Heat home. The internet porn business is booming. The once taboo industry's continued creep into the mainstream is seeking to broach another barrier. This time, its sights are set on big-time American sports. American Airlines announced on Thursday that it is not renewing its naming rights with the Miami Heat home American Airlines Arena, which will expire at the end of the year. So a porn company decided to step in and offer their services. Bang Bros is seeking to stake its claim. The Miami-based porn production company was quick to announce after the American Airlines news that it wants in on the naming rights and had submitted a $10 million bid to lay claim to the home of the Heat. We've officially submitted our $10 million bid for the naming rights to the Miami Heat Arena. We wish to thank American Airlines for their past support of the Miami Heat. We intend to change the name to Bang Bros Center, a.k.a. the BBC. Oh, I want to read this statement. This is good. With Pat Rowley at the helm, working his magic like he has in the past, Bang Bros feels they need to show their support for the next wave of winning to come and give back to the city that's treated them so well. Both the Heat and Bang Bros have become staples of the city with huge fans of each. It doesn't get more Miami than having the arena sponsored by Bang Bros. yes, this is officially my favorite story of the year.
Can they sponsor the MLS stadium?
I want them to sponsor it. Look, and
Which company would you want? Which porn company?
Man, one porn company that does it as well as Pornhub is they get it. They're in on social issues. They're in on women's issues. Mm-hmm. They get it. So I think the new MLS stadium should be the Pornhub.
Pornhub Stadium?
Pornhub. Just keep it that. It's a hub. The hub.
Call it the porn.
The porn.
Where are you going? The porn.
The porn. I think this is awesome. This won't happen, unfortunately.
Because tentacle zone.
The NBA. No way the NBA side.
We're doing genres now.
I know. I don't know what standing the NBA has, but I feel like there is a clause that says you can't name stadiums that the NBA is associated with after porn companies. I'm thinking there's a bylaw in there somewhere.
I believe the Constitution protects that. It's a God-given right.
And Bang Bros is all about protection.
I
think this is. If I ever wanted anything more to happen in my entire life, I want this. The BBC. The BBC. Come on.
That's
the BBC is delight. Come on. Somebody.
While I applaud their work and for what it is, that is full on, like, that is phase 8 of Idiocracy. Like this.
Yeah, we're close.
No, we're there. We're in it. We're in it.
Someone said they just want to hear Kevin Harlan say, "Oh my God!" and a throwdown dunk, and the BBC has erupted here in Miami.
Okay. No, you got to go with his 3-point call. Harlan's 3-point call. Right between the eyes.
It's a major explosion here at the BBC.
That'll do it for today's show. For what sponsors we have left, I appreciate all of that. Be sure to attend Happiest Hour again this Thursday, Sophie's Artist Lounge. We have Angela Smith, Charlie Winfrey, our friend Larry Green stopping by, and Justin Luke. Going to be a great show. Free to get in. Drink specials from Jack and Schlafly. Just trying to cleanse my palate here. Big thanks to everybody for tuning in today. Tomorrow we're going to clean up our act. We've got a very great radio personality stopping by. I'm not saying his name while it's up there. Brady Carricker coming in tomorrow morning to chat with us. It'll be a good time. Big thanks to everybody for tuning in. We're back live tomorrow, 8 a.m. See you then.
Say peace.
No, I don't want to say peace because I want to keep this. We already just talked about peace. How much peace do you want? Peace.